Hello, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Scott here from Squatch America.
And Hannah, domestic goddess, chief cook, and doggy mama, and really, really exhausted patriot in the paddy wagon today. I got one thing to say to you and to the audience. Taking back the country is a hell of a lot of work.
It is.
And I have had a day of it.
So hey, Uncle Bones, first one in the house. And Scott and Dale. Hey, how's it going back there in Maine?
And Donald and Renee.
Donald and Renee. The usual suspects.
The peanut gallery.
My favorite peeps. So shall we get going?
Sure, why not?
Alrighty then. So today we're going to be talking about some more reports we got while we were at Liberty. And we just had a heck of a weekend over Labor Day weekend. We went out. What did we do?
We drove up the mountain.
We drove up the mountain and went squatching. And had an interesting experience. You'll see a bit of it on Friday. And then the rest of the trip the next Friday. But it was weird.
It was not as quiet as I wanted it to be. We went to a place that was in the general vicinity of a report we had gotten, which was fine. What is this with it? We're always going out on holiday weekends, and that's just stupid. Because I tell you what, all the critters had taken a holiday. We didn't see as much as a squirrel.
True.
But we sure saw a lot of people on motorcycles.
Yeah,
and four-wheelers.
Yeah, there was heavily trafficked.
You know,
so that was one thing. We got
visited by the Forest Service.
Yeah, the Forest Service pulled up, told me there wasn't no such thing as Bigfoot, and not to have a campfire.
Yeah, so you don't.
He wanted to see that we had propane to cook with, and we did. So we're good.
Yeah. So anyway, but I hope you guys all had a meaningful Labor Day. I don't know quite why. Happy Labor Day sounds weird. So meaningful. I hope you did something that was meaningful for you. Some of you may have been holding down the fort and working. Thank you. I have always been fortunate enough to be in positions where I didn't have to work on Labor Day, but when I was in healthcare, I always had to work on Labor Day. So
cool.
Anyway. And so here we are. Summer is over. I know it doesn't say over on the calendar, but I tell you what, the weather, it's over. We are fall. We are. At
least where we're at right now. We're in pretty high elevation up northern. We're pretty north too. We're almost to the Canadian border where we're at right now. And yeah, the temperatures are getting a little chilly at night.
Yep. And the leaves are turning, and there's just something. So yesterday we had to drive into Leavenworth so I could get my blood taken. It's my annual blood draw for some Western doctor to tell me that there's all sorts of stuff wrong with me, which I really don't think there is, but whatever. And I said, the air, it looks like fall. It looks like fall. The air looks different in the fall than it does in the summer. And if Denise is listening to me, if she's watching, she knows, because we sat on her patio one day and said, the air has changed. The light is different in the fall than it is in the summer. And Scott says, you just made that up.
Yeah, because Hannah, you can't see air. What color is the air in your world? No,
the light is different. Tell me out there, isn't the light different? You know the season has changed when the light changes, and the air feels different.
Okay.
So anyway, it's fall. Happy. I hope you have your coffee.
Yep, we have some fresh coffee. So what we're going to do today is we're going to play you some audio clips
and video clips.
Well, audio. What I've been doing is kind of weird, and I feel a little creepy doing it, but
you are creepy.
I know. Is we get so many people come up to us and start telling me their stories. So I usually just pull my phone out of my pocket, and I have the side button. If I press it twice, it activates the camera and starts filming video. So I just hold my phone down to my side, and it records the whole thing. So we get a decent audio, And of course, the videos kind of suck because I'm holding it down to my side and just kind of aiming it up at people. So anyway, I know it's kind of creepy. It's like,
as long as you tell them, hey, I'm recording this so that I
Yeah.
don't forget what you say, because I've tried to take notes 8,000 times
and it
and
never works.
Yeah.
And we ask them to put in their reports, and that rarely happens. So anyway, speaking of reports, we got some great report this week from back in the old Baker City area with some great photos and some recent stuff happening there. And it just so happened that a good friend and squatcher of mine is camping out in Wolf Creek Reservoir this weekend. So I
who is that?
sent him the photos and said Kip Morrill.
Oh,
So-
yay!
So I sent him the photos and stuff and said, dude, keep your eye out. So he is. So we'll be back there in a couple weeks.
Kip.
Yeah. So
Funniest guy in all of Squatchdom.
yes.
He
And
is-
Squatcher of the Year, 8 years in a row, by his own recollection.
Because he voted himself
Because he
in.
voted himself in. So anyway, so let's
At least he's a nice guy that voted himself
Yeah,
in instead of
yes.
a criminal.
yeah. So let's see if I can get this to work. Oh, lucky. So this one, he started out talking about a 4-foot tall Bigfoot that he saw. So let's
Off
see.
we go.
Off we go.
It's about so tall, and it looked like Raggedy Ann hair.
Okay.
Crouched down in the creek, like one of us taking a drink out of a creek.
Yeah.
It stood up, took 2 steps into the woods, and was gone. I don't know. I can't explain really what I seen or if I seen it.
Yeah.
So.
That's Camp 1.
Mm-hmm.
Camp
Camp
1,
One.
yeah. There's only 13 houses up there.
Yeah.
Mount Rainier.
And it's 8 miles from the main
Mount
road.
Rainier.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be more 8 miles.
No, it's 8 miles to the end of the driveway, yeah. From the main road, and it's all windy hill and trees on both sides until you get to the
About
13.
how tall?
It couldn't have been no more than that.
Okay.
And it was crouched down
Right.
like this and stood up. Turned around, took 2 steps,
I
and was
hope
gone.
that works, otherwise I'm
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah, especially where I seen him, yeah, it's right there where the creek crosses under the road.
Yeah.
The big 90-degree corner.
Uh-huh.
Right there, and yeah, my headlights in the Cadillac weren't the greatest, but my girlfriend at the time, she seen it too, and we both looked at each other and went, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And it just kept going. So yeah,
Wow.
but you're gonna be here tomorrow.
Yep.
Talk,
Yeah. 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Be back down
Yep.
here.
All right. So what I got from this, and this is what we're trying to do, is pick out stuff from people's reports that are comparable to other reports, and plus gives us a little bit of a thought of how these things act and stuff like that. So here we go. This one I got, a 4-foot tall Bigfoot. So not all Bigfoot are 7 foot tall or 10 foot tall. There are 4-foot tall Bigfoot. They're called juveniles, you know.
Or they're called Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi Longstocking. What are you doing?
Showing Pippi Longstocking.
Why?
Because Donna said Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah, okay.
She was one of my favorite characters growing up. I loved her.
So another thing he did talk about was the Raggedy
Ann hair.
Raggedy Ann hair.
Pippi Longstocking.
So, which is very interesting because it's not the first time I've heard about basically Bigfoot with dreadlocks and very raggedy, dreadlocky like hair.
We've gotten a dreadlock.
Yeah, in fact, we've collected a dreadlock. So, Renee says probably a female. Good call. Possibly that could be it. And Donna said Pippi Longstockings.
I told you that.
that's why
That's
you
what,
would-
yeah, I
yeah.
just said. Where were you when I said that? When I said, because Donna said Pippi Longstocking.
Oh, and Lockbeer said, what if it was a Bigfoot midget?
I say that
Is there
he would,
dwarfism in the Bigfoot world?
I would say that Bigfoot's going to sue you for whatever kind of
Misgendering, misracing, or
misclassifying,
Claim.
misabling.
There you go, misabling. So
I've
hey,
been
Pappy,
working,
haven't seen
I've been
you in a while.
working my day job all day. You can tell, right?
Yeah. So, so red Raggedy Ann hair,
Red,
which is another thing we have heard red hair stories before.
sure, and that is red hair. At least in humans, is a combination of recessive genes, so
Mhm.
it's pretty rare. I wonder if it works the same in the Bigfoot.
Quite possibly.
If they're part of the human family, then
So, and another thing, it's kind of a question that actually my grandson texted me this week and asked, "Did you have blonde hair when you were born?" I'm like, "No," but there is people who are born with a different colored hair, and as they grow up, their hair does change colors. After a while.
Locke, I love your sense of humor. I can't find the cursor. I am commentating. There we go. I'm sorry, Bigfoot, for assuming anything.
Okay.
Assume away, Locke. I love it. Anyway, blonde hair.
So
Obviously, he hasn't sat through Dr. Jeff's allele lecture.
Right. Yes, the allele lecture from Dr. Jeff. It's
Something else.
it's educating and snoozeworthy.
Not nearly as excited as primate
Testicles.
genitalia.
Yeah, that's a better talk. But we have got tons of stories of reddish hair. You know, it could be dark brown in the light. It changes. You got that whole what was that deal? Remember the blue dress thing on the internet?
Oh, some people
would
see it blue and some
see-
people see it green or yellow or something. Anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's all that tricks of the eye thing.
And there is the fact too, honestly, you can speak to the veracity of this.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have a bigger crayon box than others.
True. Because
Was that a burnt sienna
yeah.
or perhaps terracotta,
Yeah.
or was it brown
It was brown
or orange
or red.
or red?
I only have 8 crayons in my box, so I've never been. I don't know. It's just the way my eyes are. I mean, green is green to me. There's no shades of stuff. It's weird.
So Pappy asks, can you imagine a big guy with alopecia? Isn't that where you lose your hair in spots?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why not.
I don't know why not.
Or do
either.
they get mange?
Or mange? That's another one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Pappy says, can you imagine a big guy with alopecia? Yeah, that I've actually seen a bear with alopecia.
It's sad.
It is sad looking.
They actually look like dogs. And I heard from someone that
or mange. Isn't it mange alopecia? Is that the same thing in animal the world? It's alopecia in humans, but it's mange and I don't know. I might be wrong. Correct me.
So I heard recently that this has nothing to do with Bigfoot, but you said you had seen basically a hairless bear and they look a lot like dogs. Well, someone that I'm recently acquainted with said that dogs actually come from bears and not wolves.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She also thinks
Hush.
Bigfoot is Grendel.
Well, yeah, you have no room in your wheelhouse for mythology, possibly coming from fact.
No.
Anywho,
Okay.
so you purveyor of Bigfoot, you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's a question.
Don said it was salmon.
Could be.
Salmon
be.
colored.
That is frightfully close to puke colored.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, here's a thought. One of the reasons that bears get disease, we have lots of incidents of bear diseases and losing their hair. They eat a lot of human crap. You know, they're going through garbage cans and eating Big Macs, and you know, I'm thinking you don't see that a whole lot in the wild because they're eating what they're supposed to eat. You get them eating human garbage, and they're going to start getting sick. So here's my thought. Humans get sick primarily because of the crap we put in our bodies. So if a Bigfoot is only eating its natural food, I doubt if they're experiencing a lot of sickness, including alopecia. Just a thought.
Just as I.
They start eating Big Macs, and God only knows what's going to happen to
Right.
poor things.
Yeah. Pappy says sometimes the hair grows back in different shades, which is very true.
Mhm.
I actually, at one time in my life, did have a little bout with alopecia. Remember?
Mhm. Yes, you
It
did.
was a stress thing. Yeah.
Yeah, stress.
And
Yeah, genetics
it
says
says
that
person is wrong. Very true.
Yeah.
That because if you think dogs came from bears and that Bigfoot is Grendel,
You
that's a little out there.
needed to listen to her more closely. She was right on with food science, though. Anyway,
Yeah. So,
gluten is poison.
but
just
she
saying.
sucks at genetics. Okay.
Okay. Well, gluten is poison. Wheat is poison. Okay.
All right. So another thing he said, it was 2 steps and it was gone.
That's about typical.
That is the most normal thing we hear. It like vanished in 2 steps. It was gone, or 2 steps. It was across the road. We hear that one a lot.
And it's always 2 steps.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
boom,
weird.
boom.
And 2 steps. It was into the woods, and I couldn't see it anymore.
Do you know, I have something to say about that too. So when we went camping this week, and here's the thing, people say, well, if they were all over the place, why can't you see them? Well, one, I always point out, people walk in front of our animatronic Bigfoot and it's, and they don't see it or hear it because people are idiots. But so we got set up at our campsite, right? We got set up at our campsite, and I had Daisy on a tether so that she could kind of run about to a certain extent while we set up. And it didn't take 5 seconds before she disappeared. Now, those of you who've seen her, she's that reddish brown color. I don't know. She's probably like a burnt sienna herself. But, here we are.
She's German Shepherd colored.
She's brown and black and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're up here in central Washington, and 5 seconds, and just off of the not even heavily wooded area, just a few trees and rocks, and she disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And she's quiet, oddly enough. Can't hear her. She's rolling around when it disappears completely. So.
Yeah.
And Renee, genetically modified wheat is bad. All wheat is genetically modified.
Well, today's wheat.
Yeah, today's wheat is horrible. Brindle. Oh, that's a good color. We should have named her Brindle. That would have been pretty.
Yeah. Donna says brindle is the color.
Mhm.
Thank you, Donna. And
anyway, back to Bigfoot. Sorry. Anyway.
there was this, and Pyromedic says
what?
It didn't pop up. Oh, there we go.
The 2 steps and it was gone that came out in the 80s off of TV shows and documentaries up from other people saying the same thing.
Very, very true. That was Raptor. No, Pyromedic. I was going to do this one.
There's a shirt on the tube called Gorilla at 5 Steps. You don't see it till it's... Is that the one where the gorilla's going through the basketball team and you don't see it? I love that. I love that. No one can get that by me anymore. I've seen it too many times. But there is that one where there's a gorilla, and they say, all right, your job, watch this video and count how many white shirts are playing, how many black shirts are playing. And then you get to the end and you got all those. Now, where was the gorilla? And you go, what?
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch it again, and there is a guy in a gorilla suit the whole time, just weaving in and out of the basketball team, and you don't even see it.
Yeah, because they tell you to look at the balls bouncing. Yeah.
So, anyway.
So that was that 2-step thing, and I understand a lot of people just it was 2 steps, but it's pretty simple if you think about it. If this thing has a 3-foot stride, 4-foot stride, We have measured up to 6-foot strides going up hills.
Mhm.
And if it's running and trying to get away from you, the stride's even longer if it gets a little hop, you know, in its step. 12 feet. So we say if it's running, it's because he said it got up and scurried off. So if it was running and it's even if it at 4 foot tall, and if it's hopping, you know, doing a running step, so you get a little more distance in your step. If it's doing 12 foot in 2 steps, well, in 15 feet in the woods, in these dense woods that you say you can't see things, because Daisy's tether was 15 feet long, actually. So you get 15 feet into the woods, you're gone.
Yep.
And so 2 steps, 12 feet, you're gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Pyro, it takes humans 3 steps.
According.
Leonard Skinner, love that song.
Oh, by the way, let's all take a few seconds of silence
Yep.
to remember Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett.
All right, margaritas for everyone later, right?
Yeah, Margaritaville, and my favorite song of his is Son of a Sailor.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the last thing? It was Crouch Down Drinking. So he interrupted it. It probably was down in the water, didn't hear him coming. That's how he surprised it. And there was another thing, if you listen to what he said, should we play it again? Just for
Yeah.
Okay,
Play
let's
it
play it again. I want you to listen
Because I've
carefully to what
totally
he said.
forgotten everything he said.
It's about so tall, and it looked like Raggedy Ann hair.
Okay.
Crouched down in the creek, like one of us taking a drink out of a creek.
Yeah.
It stood up, took 2 steps into the woods, and was gone.
See, that's what we need.
I don't know. I can't explain really what I seen or if I seen it. Yeah.
So
That's Camp 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Camp
Camp 1,
One.
yeah. There's only 13 houses up there.
Yeah.
Mount
Okay.
Rainier.
And it's 8 miles from
Oh,
the main
Mount
road.
Rainier?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be more 8 miles.
No, it's 8 miles to the end of the driveway. Yeah. From the main road, and it's all windy hill and trees on both sides until you get to the 13.
how tall?
It couldn't have been no more than that.
Okay.
And it was crouched down
Right.
like this and stood up. Took 2 turned around, took 2 steps,
I
and was
hope
gone.
that works, otherwise I'm screwed.
Yeah, especially where I seen him, yeah, it's right there where the creek crosses under the road.
Yeah.
On the big 90-degree corner. Right there, and yeah,
I think this
my
is
headlights in the Cadillac weren't the greatest, but my girlfriend at the time, she seen it too, and we both looked at each other and went, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And it just kept going. So yeah.
Wow.
But you're gonna be here tomorrow.
Yep.
Talking.
Yeah. 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Be back down
Yeah.
here.
Okay, so here's the interesting part. In fact, David said he is the son of a sailor. I salute you, sir. Anyway, one, he said it was 8 miles away from his house, down his driveway. And 2, after he said it was 8 miles away, his wife corrected him.
Yay. That's what we
because
do.
Men are never right.
You're learning. You're learning, honey.
Okay.
His wife corrected him, and stop reading the comments. His wife
Okay.
corrected him, and
But he pointed out that it was 8 miles from the house to there, because distance is a thing. I may not know times, dates, or colors, but I can judge distance like nobody's business. Mainly because in my stint in the military, they made us do that all the time. It was a constant training thing. Judge distance, because you can't shoot things if you don't know how far they're away. So I'm really good at that. And most guys are about judging distance and direction. That's another thing.
anyway, move on.
Moving right along.
Doogadoon, doogadoon.
So what it was he said it was around a corner, so this thing was down in a ditch, so probably didn't hear him or see him coming until he came around that corner, and then it startled it, jumped up, turned 2 steps into the woods. It was gone, but it was only 4 foot tall, and it was red Raggedy Ann hair. So Do
What
juveniles?
if it was Alf?
So so I have heard the dreadlock thing multiple times. So I don't think they really comb their hair.
Well,
So
but the
and
little girls might
another-
braid it.
and they have long hair. That's another thing. We hear this a lot. So this Raggedy Ann hair is long. I mean, it's longer dreadlocks.
Like orangutan.
Yeah, they have long hair like orangutans, which those get kind of matted too. Or else it was an orangutan.
Or else it was Alf. Go check for your cats.
It was orangutan in northern central Washington.
Or Alf, who was about 4 feet tall and had red hair and had a
No,
thing for cats.
no, it's
Just saying.
everybody's too young to remember that.
These people are not too young to remember. All right. Put it in the chat. Who remembers Alf?
Okay.
Okay. We are not the oldest people in the room
I feel like it sometimes. Okay.
because you can't keep up with me. So is it time for commercial
It's
announcements?
time for a commercial announcement, and then we'll come back with number 2.
Okay. As we travel and search for Bigfoot, we use a lot of equipment that uses the internet to operate. Also, in our town hall meetings and live streams, we need a reliable connection. We use Nomad Internet. There's a link and discount code below, so join us and have internet access on the go. Okay, guess what? We've got 2 different Nomad promotions going on. You can use the link, our Squatch America link at any time, but right now they are having a promotion where we get to give away 5 Nomad, their brand new modem. It's called the Omega, and it's not the portable one, but still great for rural home usage, and you get the same awesome performance. So the email I sent out to you yesterday, or on the Squatch America page on Facebook, there is a link to that. You can get a free Omega internet, but it's only the first 5 people that sign up with that code. So go to the Facebook page and look for the Nomad ad, or go to your email because I have a link there for you too. All right. And the home service, now the traveling service that we have is kind of spendy. You know, it's over $100 a month, but the home service is more like $49.
Mm-hmm.
So we pay for the convenience of taking our internet with us. Anyway,
There's that.
there is that. And I did want to say, we are making some serious progress towards having our new website up. Right now, our website developer is getting all of the forms put up, the reporting form, the contact form, the subscription form. So we are anticipating that will go live next week. We have also changed email service providers. And so when you get your email next week, it's going to probably look different. Just fair warning. Okay.
So there. So the first 5 people who go to the link can get
Now, if you go to the link you saw tonight, that's good all the time.
yeah.
But if you go to the one in the email or on our Facebook page, that one is just the first 5.
yeah. The first 5 people, we get to give away 5
Omega modems.
modems. Okay.
And those modems go for several $100s. So they're really good modems.
Yeah. So here we go. Report number 2. Dun dun dun.
78 or early 79, and I was at Menashtash, southwest of Ellensburg.
Okay.
And we were jeeping. It was late evening, and whoever I was with, we walked out onto a point to look at the vista, and they're just standing there looking, and then I looked about 100 yards from here to the bushes, and a figure came up. There was a ridge, a falling ridge line going north, so it would have been like that. So he was coming up the hillside from that, came over to the top of the ridge line, turned to the south, and walked up the hill to the south. And it was a large, long-armed, hairy structure, and walked like a man.
Mm-hmm.
And He walked underneath a tree as he went up the hill. We looked at each other and we thought we'd stand where we were for a while. We waited a while, and then we drove down there, and we walked out on that ridge line, and that tree branch he walked under was at about 10 foot high, which was about probably a foot and a half above his head. And then I got into my career and family and all that. Never thought anything about it until Dave Green, which we're friends, started setting up the website for Sasquatch. And I said, well, I saw one. And then really?
Yeah.
I told him my story. And so I've always believed him ever since I saw that. You know, we didn't see any evidence on the ground because it was all just pine needles and stuff. So no, there was nothing obvious. And we looked out in the road, but it was all a hard packed road, so we didn't. It was getting dark, so we really didn't want to track it for a while. But it was a good sighting.
Well, good. Yeah. What year?
It would have been fall of '78 or spring of '79. Cool. Yeah, I can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah. There's one of your 100.
100 for this month.
101 this month.
Put you on the list. Check.
All right. So Hannah's frantically trying to put stuff in the chat.
Okay. I'm going to put, here's a link for your gift. What is it? Modem. You keep talking.
All right. So this gentleman pointed out some things that we get quite often, and it's really interesting to me because when people are giving me their reports, there's one thing I watch very carefully is their body language, and I watch their arms. Believe it or not, it's kind of weird because if they get goosebumps and their hair stands up while they're telling their story, they saw something that changed their life forever. This happened with this gentleman. And if you remember correctly, he said 1978 or 79, late 78, early 79 is when his report was, or when his sighting was, and he was still nervous about talking about it. It was still something that really, really kind of freaked him out, even though he said he'd forgot about it for quite a few years and just kind of put it in the back of his head. And a lot of people will do that. It's like, I didn't see what I saw. I'm not going to process it. I'm just going to put it in the back of my head and just forget about it. You know, so that's something we run across quite often when people are giving us reports and talking to us. And like he said, he's one of the 100 people we got a report from that weekend. But he did remember where he was, and it was this place called Manatash. It's a native term, a ridge south of Ellensburg. It's right, Ellensburg. Yeah, Ellensburg. That's that big town down there, right?
Wenatchee.
No, where this was.
Oh, okay.
He said it was south of Ellensburg.
Okay.
Which is not too far from where we're at right now. And he saw it from 100 yards away. So a football field. And he saw it walk a ways. He said it was walking, and then it turned and went up the hill and walked under a tree. And he said it had long arms and walked like a man. So it was walking upright. And one thing that stood out to him was his long arms. Everybody has something that stands out to you when you see something, or when we're getting reports. There's always something like Datus Perry's biggest thing was the conical head. You know, he always talked about the conical head when he was talked about Bigfoot. Well, this guy, what stood out to him was these long arms. The arms were way too long for a person, which is really kind of cool. So that's something that tells me that, this is a more legit report, because he had something that stood out to him that was different. There's that. And the other one he said It was 9 to 9.5 feet tall. But what was awesome is what he did. He saw it walk under a tree. And after it had went out of sight, they took their Jeeps, they drove around to where they saw on the ridge where they saw it, and they went out to that tree, and they didn't have anything to measure with, but he, like, or me, I'm 6'3", but when I lift my hand up, and when I used to work construction, I know my fingertips will touch 8 feet. That's because when we're doing walls and stuff like that, I could reach up and touch the top of the ceiling with 8-foot ceilings. So he said he guesstimated because of his height and what he's used to seeing, but standing right there underneath that limb, it was 9 to 9.5 feet tall, where he saw it walk under. So he actually did a little bit of an investigation on it. It shocked him enough that, well, I have to go check this out, So that was really kind of interesting to me too.
Okay.
You got anything to add to?
No, I'm sorry. I'm half checked out.
So,
But Raptor says it sounded like that was another made up story. Face purple, white eyes.
what?
Actually, this guy here, I don't think he made that up.
No. For two reasons. One, he was slightly nervous, and he spent all weekend there with us before he actually told me his story.
Yeah.
That was one.
And he couldn't remember what year it was. Half the time I can't remember what year it is. I don't know how old I am from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you tell me, what did you have for dinner yesterday?
I don't know. We had Italian chopped salad, but it took me a minute,
Yeah, I can't fault anyone who can't remember a date. And ask him, just dare to ask him, when's our anniversary?
Sometime in August.
Yeah. What year did we get married?
That year we got married.
It's true. Okay, we're going back to dreadlocks here. Log had a couple good things to say about dreadlocks. One was that you naturally grow dreadlocks. You develop dreadlocks if you don't groom yourself, which is true.
Exactly. Very true.
But here's another dreadlock thing. Could be the case that the reason younglings twirl their hair is to begin the dreadlock forming process. Some cultures believe dreadlocks serve a spiritual sensory purpose. And I've seen kids twirl, human kids, and twirl their hair into a dreadlock.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just anxious.
Nervous tick.
A nervous tick.
Or something to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And in fact, well, the lady who drew us the pictures, Yvonne from Eugene, who watches us occasionally, she said she watched the young female Bigfoot braid her hair.
Yeah, and that could have been twirling too, because what is braiding? It's just like more organized twirling. Now they're fighting over
dreadlocks.
Anywho, moving on. Scott, the paddy wagon does not have a doghouse, and that's okay because half the time I don't know. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. We've been married too long to quibble about crap like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you something else? We don't give each other Christmas presents or anniversary presents or birthday presents. We just buy stuff throughout the year and call it good.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
My dreadlock photo.
I didn't see any weave in that thing. Was there a weave in that?
Okay.
Or is that just... Okay. Is there a difference between dreadlocks and just plain old mats?
True. All right. In fact, I think I have this. It might take me a minute to look it up, but this is a dreadlock that we found actually in Maine, by the way, for you East Coasters.
And by the way, our son is still looking at property. This last week, he found a property in Woodland, Maine, which is up west of Caribou. That's a really exciting one.
So this was hooked on a fence with footprints on both sides of the fence. So there's that. And Dr. Jeff took a look at this under the microscope, and he feels it's in the Bigfoot realm. But so there's a Bigfoot dreadlock.
Okay. So, what's next?
That was next.
That was next. What's
Mhm.
next? We got 22 minutes here, bub.
I know. So, what was on his list here?
100 yards away, watched it walk a ways away, long arms, walked like a man. What do you
Mhm.
think about that?
Well, that means it walked upright for a long ways. So it wasn't a bear, because bears do not walk upright.
For very far.
Not very far. They don't do it at all, hardly, ever.
I did see a guy wrestle a bear the other day. It was kind of cute. I was
Yeah.
ready to do it myself, get a bear hug.
Hmm. You don't want a bear hug.
Probably not, but you know how I feel about wildlife.
So a lot of people do tell us, hey, it could have been a bear standing up and walking into the woods. Bears do not walk when they're standing up. They stand up to look big, scary, and to show you their size, or sometimes to get a better view so they could look around a little bit further. But they don't walk on their back legs unless they're trained a bear in a zoo or in a circus.
Oh, Donald, you're not looking for that in a woman.
No.
So this has nothing to do with Bigfoot, but holidays. What do holidays do for us? We just don't. We try to make a little bit of every day into a holiday.
Oh, you're hilarious.
I know. It's so cute. Yeah, what happens is whenever he buys something off of Amazon that he knows is a little bit outside the current budget, that's like, well, happy birthday to you for the next 6 years, bub.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that works.
Mhm.
What are you looking for?
That photo, but my computer just recently goofed up and it won't show me the
Well, then
photos.
just get out of there.
I'm hoping I can see.
You're commentating on everything you're doing.
Yeah, I am.
It's really bad online presence.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
You're never going to find it, so just get out of there. I'm going to poke you until you get out of there. Poke, 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 poke. He thinks that's it. That's not
Nope.
it.
I hate this. Okay. Anyway, so what's your thought on Bigfoot dreadlocks? We're going to ask that question.
An injury like petals? I don't know what that is. Petals? Petals. I don't get it.
Paddles.
That's petals.
Pedals.
I don't understand what you're saying, Renee. I don't understand those words at all. Yeah. Yeah, black bears will walk a little ways on 2 feet, but then they, if they want to have any speed, they go.
Right. They don't walk halfway up a hill, which was what this gentleman's talked about. He said he saw it walk across the ridge, turn and go up the ridge, and then under a tree, and then off into the forest.
Yeah. It was a bear that walked upright because of, that was his name.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Walked upright because of an injury. I can't figure out what kind of injury would make it walk upright. And all I'm getting in my head are those pictures of those horrible people that train their dogs to walk upright, and they dress them in like little girl dresses, and they walk. And I can't go there. I can't go there. Yeah. Raptor says that he thinks that what you showed is just matted hair and not a dreadlock.
Oh, really?
Is there a difference between a naturally occurring dreadlock, or a human created dreadlock?
Okay, let's try this again. It does look very matted. Well, it is actually matted. So dreadlocks are human made, I guess, if we want to put it that way. But this is just really matted strands of hair, which I think dreadlocks are matted strands of hair. I'm not seeing the
Have
difference.
you
in
ever
my hair.
tried to brush out a dreadlock? Don't
Mhm.
ever do it.
Don't ever do
You
it.
have
Yeah.
to cut them off.
Yeah. So anyway, it's very interesting. Um,
And let's not confuse them with cornrows.
yeah. So well, whatever it is just tangled hair. A tangled hair mess.
A tangled hair mess. I
Mhm.
like that.
Yep.
So,
And if any of you had young daughters with long hair, which I had,
no.
and combing their hair out is just a battle.
Okay, so I'm so sad about that bear.
Mhm.
So I was watching a video this week. Okay, this has nothing to do with Bigfoot, but we're talking about animals being put down. It kills me. I love watching clean comedy on YouTube, and I've been watching this comedian his name is John Christ, and he's a Christian comedian. He loves making fun of Christians. I love it. My kind of guy. Anyway, he was talking about how stupid it was at that whatever zoo that was. Remember a few years ago where the little kid climbed over the guardrail into the gorilla pen and then they killed the gorilla. He was so mad about that because he says the gorilla just showed up for work. It was doing what he does, and some invader comes in and they kill the gorilla. And it's like that's how I feel whenever I see about an animal being put down. The animal's only doing what the animal's doing. It's always people screwing up that screws up the lives of the animals. So if Bigfoot's endangered, it's because of us.
And Dale just told me August 19th, 1997 was, and you got that from Denise too,
Yes,
didn't you, Dale? Okay.
All right. So
Donna had a random question. I
Yes.
didn't miss it, Donna. Here we go.
do you think Bigfoot sleep as a group in the same spot or scattered with a watchman? I think they probably sleep in little pods, like
Okay.
a family unit.
I think for warmth purposes, probably they do sleep in groups. But I think they only have small family groups, mom, dad, children kind of thing. But that watchman thing,
Absolutely.
absolutely. There have been many, many reports of people seeing like scouts sitting up on the hill. Native American lore talks about how they have a group and then they have spotters that guard, basically Bigfoot on guard duty over the group that's sleeping. So very much so about the watchman thing. I've heard that many, many times, especially in, like I said, in the Native American culture, they do have watchmen.
Donald wants to know if we can make him a moderator. We're not on Zoom, so we don't have moderators.
Who?
Donald Fuller, he said, can you make me a mod for a minute? I'll link the Pamula video, but we're not on Zoom.
Wait,
So
I think I can.
no, you cannot.
Um,
You can invite him into the studio.
no, hold on. I got to go to YouTube and do it, but we can.
I don't know how to do. I don't know what he's doing. Now I don't know what you're doing.
Because we don't. If I was doing it live directly on YouTube, that would be one thing.
But we're not.
But we're not. So I got. So I got to find Don. Where's one of
Right
his?
there. Right here. Right here.
What?
Right here. Add as moderator. Oh, just how long does it take to click a button?
Oh, it sounds like Hannah. All right, there you go. Just did.
All right, I guess you're a moderator on YouTube now.
Which is fine with me.
Yeah. All right. So, in fact, you can stay moderator. We need people to get, route out bots and gross things.
Yeah, we had that one bot attack one night. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question. Yes, I do believe they have a group or in the same spot or scattered. Oh, that's another thing she asked was, if they're in the same spot. Yeah, I do believe that they nest in the same spot. And I say nest because we find nests. Or they do if it's in caves or something like that. But
sleeping. Watchmen.
sleeping, watchmen. I know. I don't think they sleep in the same spot every night, though. I think they're very nomadic. So that's my that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it until I get proven wrong. I believe that they are very, very nomadic. So they're never in the same spot night after night. They'll be somewhere else. So they travel a lot. So, and that's another thing that comes from the Native American lore, and plus just the last 5 years of us. I can't believe it's been 5 years we've had our website up.
Yeah.
But the last 5 years of taking reports after report after report for 5 years. That's one thing, putting times and dates and pins and maps. Actually, here in the camper, I used to have this big map on my wall that we put them in, but now I have books, map books.
They pack better.
They pack better, and we put dots on the maps. So, and then that, to me, I don't think they're, gosh, what's the word? They don't migrate, but
they follow the food in a generalized area.
Yeah, but they do have territories, I believe, which are hundreds and hundreds of miles, and they do move a lot. They are nomadic.
Hey, hi, Don Endicott. I saw your comment earlier about how you said it's my turn. I get almost all the turns.
To buy something on Amazon.
We both got carts that we're building up.
Yeah.
Right now in my cart is an iPad and a new keyboard for my computer.
What's mine? A battery and new microphones.
So.
Yeah. So
anyway, yeah, about 100-mile territory.
Yeah, I think
they move in pods like whales. I wonder if they have songs.
Yeah, well, small family groups, but I think they have territories though. I think this family group has a territory. This family group has another territory, and they're in different places, and none the two shall meet. Unless it's mating season and the young males and young females are breaking away from there
to create their own
territories and family groups.
And the entire population is so small it's not hard to do.
Exactly.
So I think we need to tell them where we're headed to next. We're almost at the end of our season. So are you ready?
Yep, we're going.
Because we are down to 7 minutes.
Okay, we're down to our last stop.
If you can't dazzle them with brilliance,
baffle them with bullshit. Okay, there we go.
So, all right, on Saturday, September 9th, that's in 3 days, we will be on the Bigfoot train excursion that leaves from Elgin, Oregon. And I want to say something publicly because we had someone that was kind of upset message us. And they said, we can't afford this. We're senior citizens and we won't be checking out any of your activities anymore. And, you know, we realize that economically it's a hard time. A lot of the things we do, like this Bigfoot train, a lot of the festivals we guest at and all that, we do not put those on. We are not the ones who put the Bigfoot train together. That is the historic Elgin Train Depot and their volunteer crew that puts that on. And honestly, when you look at the price of diesel and how much diesel it takes to run that train and the lunch and all the work that goes into it, a $65 ticket for an adult round trip, that's pretty reasonable. That's about how much a jet boat excursion costs on a river. But we don't put these prices on things. So we are volunteers just like they are, and we don't make any money off of that train. We do make money off of the t-shirts we sell there, but we don't make money off the train. So we are not trying to price people out. What we are trying to do is partner with as many groups and organizations as we can to bring Bigfoot and to bring the fun of this endeavor to as many people as we possibly can. I suggested to these people, if they're close enough, that they could become volunteers and enjoy all the train rides all year long. So
Paramedic says, do you think that these structures are territorial markers?
Some of them.
I think some of them are. In fact, today I was on another podcast this morning with Ray
Harwood.
Ray Harwood. Yeah, I knew I had it right. It just wouldn't come out of my brain. Okay. And I linked it in our Facebook page. Today we talked about structures and things a little bit. And one of the things I think they have nests to sleep on, or basically they make pads to sleep on. They have nests, I think, are for their babies. I'm not quite sure what the teepee structures are yet. There's theories, but I think these big X's that you find in the forest, and those are found quite often, are territorial markers. I think those are the territorial markers.
Okay, let's look at some of these. Raptor always has the most interesting questions.
Okay.
It's up here.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you think they don't migrate? You think they're going to stay up north when it's -0? They will freeze to death, especially with no food. Okay, so Raptor, let's talk about adaptation. They are, and this is something that Dr. Jeff pointed out the last time we heard him speak, and it was really quite brilliant. They are adapted to their environment. What do Bigfoot have that our subspecies of human doesn't have? What do they have that we don't?
Hair, longer intestinal tract, so they can get more nutrients out of food than we do because their bodies are longer than ours. And
they have hair. They've got fur coats and
subcutaneous fat, probably.
Well, we've got plenty of that, but
yeah. And here's another thing. If you think about it, under snow is 32 degrees.
Yeah.
If it's 14 or -14 outside and you're under the snow, it's 32 degrees.
Yeah. Or if you're in an underground cave, it's warmer than that.
So that's one thing. And if you think about this, Homo sapiens, us, and Homo neanderthal both lived in the winter
during the Ice Age.
During the Ice Age. And they didn't go south. They didn't migrate somewhere warmer. They just lived there in the wintertime.
And when you live somewhere in the cold for long enough, you get used to it. You may not like it. I've gotten used to it. I don't like it. I would much rather be in Texas. But anyway, but they are perfectly adapted to their habitat
and environment.
Human beings, Homo sapiens, we're spoiled. We've spoiled ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We are not survivalists anymore.
Right. And plus we have got reports, a lot of reports of them in snow in the wintertime. Most famous one, and back in the day, Rene de Hinden and Ivan Marks.
Yeah.
The Cripplefoot cast. They found 1,089 of those footprints. A lot of people don't know that. They didn't just find one or two. They found 1,089 of those footprints.
In the snow.
In the snow.
Going up the mountain.
Into the mountains, yeah.
So
there's that.
And I think the other thing too, here is the other thing, that longer intestinal tract. What they're eating their native diet. They have a longer intestinal tract, so they don't require the physical amount of food that we wouldn't require. The physical amount of food either if we were eating what we should eat, because the standard American diet, we can't absorb all the nutrients. It's just impossible. So they don't have to eat as much, and what they do eat, they're getting every last bit of nutrition out of it. Mm-hmm. So,
and the other thing too, we do get quite a few reports. In fact, one in particular that I actually investigated probably 5 or 6 years ago was a couple that were cutting wood in the snow, and the deer. There was a herd of deer that was hanging around them really close. Like, why is the deer? Chainsaws running, stuff like that. Why are they hanging around? And then they skidded a log off the hillside, and it scraped some of the snow away. And they found a huge patch of blood on the ground where a deer had been murdered. which could have been anything. Could have been wolves.
Do you actually murder a deer or do you kill it for food?
Kill
Come
it
on.
for food. But anyway, it could have. Of course, it could have been something else. But the thing was, when they were driving out of the forest, the Bigfoot walked across the road in front of them, and it walked 50 yards, if I remember the story right. It's been a while. 50 yards, and then it walked around a tree, then came on the other side of the tree and looked back at them to see what they were going to do when they stopped the car. They got out, was going to walk towards it. I don't know why. To try to get pictures, and the next thing they knew, they were back in the car driving off the hill as fast as they could.
Didn't even know how they got going.
Didn't know what happened between the time they walked between the truck. They were probably abducted by aliens and put back in the truck hours later.
Because Alf, I told you, Alf.
No, I think it was the old infrasound thing where they just hit the fight or flight and they ran away. But that also in the snow in the winter, and this is up a place in Eastern Oregon. In fact, where Kip is right now. So doing an investigation of where we got more reports from that very same area just this week.
All right. So, there it is. This is the Pamula. I don't know what Pamula is, but we'll catch it later.
Yep. So thanks, Don, for throwing that. And we're out of time.
We're out of time. So please come see us in Elgin.
Oh yeah. So come see us in Elgin, and if you want, if you're in the Pendleton, not Pendleton, Hermiston area.
The winery closes at 7.
Okay, so we are going to be available to chat with you guys tomorrow. Now I'm throwing this out.
In person, not in here.
In person, at the Echo Ridge Winery in Echo, Oregon, which is just outside of Hermiston, from let's say 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock.
Well, he'll be available. I won't be, but he'll be available.
Okay.
I told you because I have a.
Oh, she has a thing.
I have a thing.
But I'll be there hanging out in the winery.
And after they close, you can just come over, bring your lawn chairs, and come gather outside the trailer.
Yeah, and we can chat.
Yep.
So they close at 7. We're going to be parked in their parking lot overnight. So there's that. If you're in the area, let's meet up. Okay?
Yeah.
I know it's short notice.
Yeah. BYOM, bring your own money. We're not buying drinks for everyone. And I can be responsible for that.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so very much, everybody.
And I'm sorry we didn't get to everyone in the chat, but as always, thank you so much for watching us and for liking. Please like, subscribe, smash the buttons, and share it, and help us grow our channel. I was going to see what we were up to today.
04.
04?
Mm-hmm.
We could be up to more than that now.
No, 04.
Let's see what Studio says. Studio says 04. 2,504 subs.
So we've gained 4 this week. Yay.
Yes, our next big milestone will be 5,000.
5,000.
Let's do it.
So share. Thank you very much, folks.
All right. So you keep watching.
And we'll keep squatching.
Bye.
So go out and find Bigfoot, my very
you're
friends.
You're not ready.
And we forgot this.
Yes, our job is to investigate the unexplained, not to explain the uninvestigated. So thank you for watching. Good night. Bye.
Bye. I got to find the button.